Do you know what WGBH stands for? Welcome to a very special episode of The Rewind, where each week we explore the public media archives where our history is preserved, online, in the vault, and today from the highest point in Greater Boston. So Emmerich, help us understand a little of where we are right now.
So we are in the transmitter room of WGBH FM. Since 1951, this is where WGBH FM has been. Initially, television was here also, and then it moved to the transmitter site in Needham. So what you see here is the equipment that gets our signal from our studios in Brighton to Blue Hill, and then gets it into the transmitters on the air. So it's processing and distribution, all the stuff that makes radio.
Got it. And I see we've got lights and stuff moving around now. So is this what's happening on the broadcast?
Yes,
right now?
I can turn the volume up.
NPR. Senator Elizabeth Warren rode the campaign trail.
So there's Joe, and it's what's on the air now. So we can listen to it before it goes out onto the air and when it comes off the air, so we can make sure it's working like it should. But everything runs remotely. So with an iPad or with a computer, you can look in and see what every piece of equipment is doing. You can listen to it, check levels, make sure everything's working properly. If anything isn't correct, it calls us to tell us.
So take us through a little of the journey of how some sound from our studios in Brighton kind of makes its way here and then eventually to the listeners.
So from the studio, when Joe's talking in the morning, the audio is turned into energy, RF energy. I don't want to get too geeky on you.
Please, go as deep as you want.
It goes from our building through our tower in Needham because of St. Elizabeth's Hospital. It blocks our direct path between Brighton and Blue Hill. So we have to do relay point in Needham.
Wow.
It comes into this building, goes through this processing equipment where you can listen to the audio and make sure it's all good.
Yeah.
And then it goes to one of our two transmitters.
Okay.
It's a solid state transmitter. We can open the door, you'll see inside.
Oh, cool. So it looks like there's handles here. So do these come out?
So each of these is a smaller transmitter that combine to make the full transmitter.
Okay.
So if any of these were to fail, you can slide these out and replace them with a replacement. Or you can use one from the other transmitter.
Got it.
So it combines to make the full power that we transmit at. If our remote control senses that a transmitter has failed, it will automatically switch to the other transmitter and change all the plumbing so the energy from that transmitter now gets to the antenna.
Okay. So what happens with all this equipment if the power goes out or if there's a shortage?
The power goes out more often than you'd think. Because we're on Blue Hill and the power comes up telephone poles up the ski hill. If the power goes out, the generator automatically starts, and within 8 to 10 seconds, we're back up on generator power.
Wow. Can we check out the generator?
Sure.
All right, let's take a look.
So this is our generator. The fuel tank is underneath it, so it's about 600 gallons of fuel, and we can go about 3.5 days before we have to get refilled with fuel.
So, and just so people understand, walking at home, it is freezing in this room. It was so warm out here.
Yeah, because the only heat is the residual heat from the transmission equipment.
Wow.
So there is heat in here, but we only have to keep it above freezing.
So we've got some dramatic copper stuff here, it looks like. What are these for?
So we talked about if one transmitter fails, the other one takes over. Well, you have to switch between the two transmitters so it gets to the antenna. This is the switch that takes the energy from one transmitter or the other, A or B, and switches it to the antenna.
So here we are back at our studios in Brighton, and you might be wondering why we decided to focus on this topic today. Well, December 12th marks the anniversary of the first transatlantic radio signal transmission, which laid the groundwork for WGBH and other stations. Thanks as always for tuning into The Rewind, and we'll see you next week in the archives.